By the way, Chiefs getting ready to have a new stadium. The Kansas. The emphasis on the Kansas City Chiefs. I would just get rid of the city and just call it the Kansas Chiefs because they're moving to Kansas with their new stadium. Yeah, see.
Wonder how many people are finding out right now that the Kansas City Chiefs actually played in Missouri all this time and not Kansas. I bet it's a higher percentage than you think.
Wait. There's a Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas?
Yeah, same thing, just different.
Yeah, Paul.
I know we don't cover local politics and stuff like that in Kansas City, so a lot of people nationally were surprised. It's a $3 billion domed stadium, 70% public funded, and their lease at Arrowhead expires in 2030.
Okay.
Dome stadium.
So it's a couple of years before they get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be moving for a few years. Yes, Marvin.
So the reason for all these dome stadiums is just to host like a Super Bowl and a Final Four, just so they can get more events in those stadiums?
Well, concerts. Soccer. I mean, that's a lot of money. When you have a dome stadium, a lot of money. And it's not just 8 or 9 football games or maybe a bowl game that you could host. Usually if you build a stadium, you'll have a Super Bowl. The NFL rewards you with a Super Bowl. Then there'll be a Super Bowl in Kansas, maybe in 2030, 2031. Yeah, Paul?
I would assume that the NFL has approval process with all new stadiums that teams build. You assume that, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the NFL make a rule that says all future stadiums have to be retractable roofs? Because some of the greatest moments in NFL history are based off the weather. Some of the most tense playoff moments.
But you're not going to allow that weather in. That's why you have a dome stadium. You're not going to go, hey, it's going to pour rain. It's going to be 12 inches of snow.
Well, see, I disagree. I think, let's say a team like the Kansas City Chiefs and their players are used to the weather, and let's say they're facing the Miami Dolphins like they were, was that 3 years ago in that brutal weather? They may say, you know what? We're going to open this thing up because our players are ready for this and the Dolphins aren't, and you would have that option.
Well, also factor this in. Kansas City was still better than Miami, and you're hosting Miami. So I don't know. Yes, that was brutally cold and probably factored into the Dolphins, their play, but the Kansas City was still going to beat the Dolphins. I can't imagine that the NFL was going to let you manipulate a game by saying you can open it up, but it's going to have pouring rain, or it's going to open up and it's really windy. We're going to open it up and there's going to be 12 inches of snow. I can't imagine the NFL would sign off on that. That's why you have a dome, to protect you from the elements. You can't say, we got a dome, we're Buffalo, we're going to open it up because we want to have cold weather. Why are you having a dome to begin with? Yes, Todd.
But if we're all about the fan interactive experience, so to speak, we just have a vote and they have a little electronic device by their chair or something, and if more than half say they want it closed or open, that's what they go with. The people that actually going to have to sit in it for hours get to decide. Majority wins whether it's open or not.
Yes, Marvin.
When do we care what the fans thought?
I don't know if the NFL cares.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Think the NFL cares?
I don't think they're going to go, hey, we're going to take a vote here. You decide. Right. What, you get in your seat and then all of a sudden everybody, 30 minutes before kickoff? Okay, what do you want? We're going to open it? We're going to close it? What are we going to do? Yes, Marv.
Yeah, the NFL, they're like, you're going to come and watch this anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, Pauline.
I'm curious if hardcore football fans, the ones that actually go to stadiums week in, week out, want a fresh new stadium. What does it get you? Your seat is your seat. Your view is your view. I think you mentioned before the show, you'd rather have a better path in or out with traffic and a better tailgate lot than all these accoutrements that people don't really want.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the Cowboys Stadium. You see the Jumbotron, and your neck hurts when it's you're like this the whole time. Every time there's a play, then you look up at the Jumbotron. All right, it's Jerry's world, and he wants to do things bigger and better. Me, it's just about getting like you go to a game in New England. Oh, what a nightmare. And they did try to build a little city around there. So you can go in and buy like Christmas ornaments, and there's a steakhouse, and you're like, great.
Well, that's what they all do. I mean, this Chiefs thing, if you read through the press release, it's like, plus there will be expanded opportunities for mixed-use facilities like apartments and restaurants and retail and all of this. That's what the plan is for all of them.
But it used to be they were moving stadiums into cities. Now they're moving them to the suburbs.
Stadiums are supposed to be in cities. Like the way the country is set up is people are supposed to drive into cities to do things, and then they could drive back out. If they don't want to live around people and they want to live in an area more spread out, then you drive back out to a more rural area. But now we're taking all of the stuff that cities had and that made them great and moving them out to the rural areas instead.
Yes, Todd.
I'm less concerned about the turf and the grass and the mountains or whatever the view is in the background. If there's like a Nathan's hot dog stand there, or you got Jersey Mike's or Carvel, I'm all about like, what are the concessions looking like? And then I can get around that.
All the food chains.
If I'm happy with the food, I could work around, not having the best view or whatever, or what the surface is, or if there's a roof or
It
not.
always goes back to me for, yes, the convenience of getting to and from a stadium. And you go to a Patriots game, there's one road in and one road out. Having, traffic, the parking, making the fans pay for how much of this stadium, and then you're going to price gouge them on parking. I mean, once again, we've talked about this for decades. When does the fan get something? When do the owners actually say, you know what, we want to do this. Here's our gesture here. They just don't do it. But we kind of take it. We're in this abusive relationship of I love you. I can't leave you. Hey, we need you. We got a mill rate going up here. All of this stuff. But it continues to go on because we as fans allow it to go on. Yeah, Paul.
I just think the new stadiums are more antiseptic and disposable. They all look like each other. They're all glass and showy. But I've been to the Cowboys Stadium, and I've been to Lambeau. Lambeau is drastically better, and that's coming from a Bears fan. Lambeau's outside. You could smell everything. And I remember getting food, and it was fine.
Okay, but why are the Bears moving to the suburbs?
I don't know. Money.
Well, wait, you got this unbelievable stadium. The Packers aren't moving.
Believe me when I tell you the Bears fans don't want them to move to the suburbs. And they definitely don't want a dome, more so the dome than even the moving. The Cowboys Stadium is probably the worst professional stadium I've ever been in for a game experience. Like you said, it's overwhelmingly the Jumbotron. And then they have those recessed suites that you can't see anything but the players' legs.
I know.
That is the worst.
And then you got the sunlight coming in. Yeah. But, keep in mind, Detroit went with a dome.
Yep.
There's the elements. The Vikings, Bud Grant has to be rolling over in his grave. Like, wait, we're soft. Yes, Eden.
That's, sort of back to what you were saying, though, about like publicly funded and privately funded, all of that stuff. If the public is funding most of the stadium, say in the Chiefs case, it's like 70%, we said, right? Then the public should get 70% of the profit.
I'm all for that.
That really isn't a crazy statement. Like if you want to put up 30% of the cost, then you can get 30% of it back. But everything is sold to the public as, hey, this is going to bring in $1 billion a year. But the economic benefits almost never match the public cost, ever.
And you're going to say to the residents of the state of Kansas, you guys got to pony up money. Hey, you want to have a stadium here? Well, that's a tough state to say, hey, you guys need to support. You need to pay. We're going to pay $600 million. We need you to pick up the rest of the tab.
And so many of these stadiums, they're owned by the public, which, is great and all. But the team ultimately controls the area through the whatever lease they have. And so now Missouri basically has this legendary stadium that nobody's ever going to play in anymore.
Yeah,
so that's great for the public.
According to the Chiefs team president, who was asked by local reporters, the new Chiefs Stadium will have 65 to 68,000 seats. That's down 10,000. So 10,000 fewer fans per week get to see the Chiefs in person. Also, the NFL has a rule. You have to have 70,000 seats to host a Super Bowl. So hopefully they know that.
Well, they do know now. I didn't know you had to have at least 70,000.
Yep. Or the ability to transition to temporary seats.
Okay. Yes, Todd?
And Missouri had the St. Louis Rams, and then they left, and now you got the Kansas City Chiefs are going to leave. It's a little depressing.
Yeah. But they're not moving that far away. The Rams moved to L.A. This is 30 miles away.